topic will be the new United States. Our world has changed. In 100 years, the face of our planet is much different than the world looked in 2000. Our population has skyrocketed and our technology has grown. Even our coastline have changed. Because of global warming, we have lost much of our land. Florida and California are all gone, and the coastlines of our nation had to be redrawn.
Tonight we will discuss the changes in our food production, our pest control, forestry, rangelands, urban development, along with many other topics. To start off with, we have shifted how we grow and transport our food. Hydroponics is now a solid source of the United States food. On our ocean, we have large mats full of crops essential to the health of the U.S. Corn, wheat, and other crops have been genetically engineered to take in salt water along with fresh so that they can survive on the ocean. They are transported through the network of canals that were made when the coastlines changed. Specially designed boats are now used on these canals. These boats are more efficient than the trucks of 100 years ago because they now use the hydroelectric power that is generated as they move. Batteries that are filled with hydroelectric power are used to start the boats, and power is generated as the boat travels. This way is more efficient than the ocean.
Also, food prices look different today than they did those many years ago. Prices on junk food have been risen a significant amount. All food considered below a healthy standard has been raised $2 to $5. It is only possible for those people on food stamps and other policies like that to buy foods that have been deemed healthy. Rooftop gardens have also been installed in all of our new apartment buildings, and so far they have been very successful. Each building contains a garden that the residents take care of, along with workers who go from building to building to make sure that the gardens are kept healthy. Each of the gardens comes with a mini farm. It includes 1 cow, or 2, depending on the size of the building, and enough chickens to keep the residents supplies with eggs. Workers also keep track of the animals there. These gardens have been placed at every school in the country also. Students are now receiving healthy and fresh foods that are prepared daily. Each week the students have surveys which they take so that they can tell the staff if they liked it or not. And then a new type of menu will be created.
Now onto the problem of keeping pests off of our crops. Years ago, we used pesticides every year. These were effective at keeping our plants bug-free, yet they were building up in our environment. These pesticides caused problems, and soon our bugs were resistant to the old pesticides, and we were forced to create new and more dangerous chemical pesticides. Now we have developed new methods. The fix is called IPM, or Integrated Pest Management. Techniques such as crop rotation, pheromones, and natural enemies of pests were used to such a degree that pesticide use was almost no longer needed. Soon, the government instituted the Pesticide Control Management, or PCM, to monitor the levels of pesticides that exist around farms to ensure that all farmers had stopped using chemical forms of pesticides. These methods have been working very successfully, and we are proud to say that from our surveillance, the levels of pesticides have significantly dropped.
Another problem that we have solved is the problem of our forests. The way that we were planting forests was not working. Therefore, the government created the Forest Protection Program. This program went through our national forests and surveyed the amount of trees in the area. Then they took out some of the trees in the area so the remaining trees would be able to get more nutrients and grow in a better suited environment. All of our existing national forests were kept and are continually monitored by the FPP.
Rangelands and the problems of keeping them monitored have also been solved by a new government agency. The Rangeland Agency, or the RLA, has been made to monitor private and public rangelands to ensure that there is not overgrazing or abuse of the environment. All of the private lands will be kept in the owner's hands, but if the RLA finds that the land is being abused, then the lands will be taken into federal custody.
Now on to our cities. Our population has skyrocketed over this past year, and even though our growth rate is now declining, we still have the highest population of all time. That presents the problem of where do all these people get put? The answer is building up. We have spent large amounts of money to building and renovating apartment buildings in the city that look more like skyscrapers. By making higher buildings, that means we have more space on the ground for more buildings. This helps us because we can fit more people into a smaller amount of space. We then were able to keep our forests and rangelands despite our loss of space due to the encroachment of waters from the oceans. For people who wanted more space in an apartment, Houseboats have now become the rage. With canal systems now crossing the U.S., it is easier than ever to get around via boat. Now houseboats are the second most popular form of housing.
Our packaging for all of our products has now become biodegradable. All of the packages must be able to biodegrade in 2 years or less.
All of our cars, buses, and trucks are now required to be electric. This is easier than the old days because we have the hydroelectric power of the canals harnessed in parking lots, parking garages, and houses. These special places are filled with charging ports so our cars will always be charged. The canals also keep all the shipping and equipment trucks off the roads, freeing up our roads so that the traffic is much less than years past.
All of our public and federal lands were kept as they were and protected and preserved as much as possible. Many new laws and associations have been put into place to protect our environment. New laws state that all cars must be electric. There are new littering laws. There is to be no littering of waste, decomposable or not, of any kind. Now the houseboats cause a problem at first because many of the places they go can't be seen and they could easily dump their garbage straight into the water. But the government instituted a new system of boat patrol. This branched off the Coast Guard and has so far been successful. These boats motor through designated houseboat areas and monitor the areas, making sure that no trash is being dumped. High-priced fines are placed on anyone discovered littering.
Practices in mining and fishing industries have changed. More fisheries were built to produce more fish to feed the growing population. Also, the oceans and lakes were stocked to supply more fish for commercial and hobby fishing. Mining has been reduced due to the fact that we no longer need as much oil. The U.S. government made the decision to focus on developing our own country, and once the economy is better, we will continue to help other countries. All of the treaties that the U.S. had were kept, yet they were evaluated for efficiency.
The country's changed a lot in the last 100 years, yet almost all these changes have been done for the better. Our country has become more efficient, healthier, and more productive. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You stay classy, Croswell.
Tonight we'll discuss the changes in... You're not stopping recording, are you?
It's now only possible for people on food stamps and other policies like that to... Oops.
Hold on.
I totally messed it up.
You couldn't hear that in the video, could you?
What was that?
Dad!
I'm on the couch. Oh my God. I thought it was like Jonathan being smart.
I'm sorry, Kelsey, you ruined your part. We got it right away. Kelsey's just like, oh my god.
That's the second time that's happened to me today. I was in the dollar store.
Sorry.
And
I was actually going to come around the corner and I didn't think it was going to be that loud. So.
Well, I totally messed up anyway.
My bad. My bad.
High-priced fines are placed on anyone discovered littering.
Practices in mining and the fishing industries have changed. More fisheries were built to produce more fish to feed...
Why? Oh, I just